Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures morning leap session for Tuesday, March 29th, 2016. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder and head moderator of Quantum Leap. Each morning we come together and take a look at the market macro to micro, the structure of the market, and then drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in coming in and checking it out, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put up my contact information in just 1 second. Before I do, please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. If you do want to check us out, here's my contact information. There's no website, there's no blog. We do this in this live go-to each morning, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the day. Send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com if you want to check us out. There's over 300 days up on YouTube. You can see of these pre-market sessions and check out our performance. Yesterday, we were looking for that. Our main hypothesis was a move down to the 21 through to the 19, possibly the 17 area, find responsive buying down there, then rotate us back up through the upper distribution and outside of the Friday range and go up and take out that 34.50. Hypothesis played out very nicely, just was a little bit tighter. We found buyers at 22, just in front of the value area low, or I should say value area high, right at that LVN at 22, and then they rotated off of that. And they didn't quite get to the 34.50. They failed at 34 and came back down. Very, very strong Gaussian distribution, very tight day, compressing, and in the end, didn't quite get the expansion that we were looking for. We were hoping to come up into the 34 and get continuation up through to that 40.50, the microcomposite VPOC. Take a look at the news first. Of course, the big news is going to be at 12:20 when Yellen speaks, but we do have news at 9 coming up in about 10 minutes. S&P CS Composite 20 HPI year over year, and then 10 o'clock we've got CV consumer confidence. So we do have news this morning, but everybody's going to be waiting to hear what Yellen has to say. So just keep it tight. It could get a little bumpy when she starts her speech. Taking a look at the macro to the micro, I like to start my day with a basic candlestick chart, work on the monthly, work my way down. I use a 9 EMA and 20 SMA, looking to see where we are in context to the trend. I'm looking for slope and separation or violation. You can see that the monthly upward trend has been challenged right now, and currently we're having a hard time getting back over the 20 and staying above the 20 SMA. So the trend is definitely violated on the monthly. On the weekly, we do have the start of a possible upward trend. There is a naked cross right here at 1982.50, although it is on the weekly context. Bit of a technical gap, a little bit of weakness coming in here, but the overall trend is still to the upside. Looking at the daily, you can see that we've had this strong trend, good slope and separation, but it's starting to weaken, and we're getting some challenge to slope and separation, and we're currently trading below the 9 EMA, so we are seeing some weakness. A test of the 20 SMA will bring us down into that 0675, and there's two targets I've got below us right now, the 17 and the 0675. So today we could go down and challenge that area, although I do not think we're done with the upside. I think we need to come down and pick up some buyers. Going to the 4 hour, you can see that we have rolled over some. We are starting to get the possibility of a downward trend, but we don't have slope and separation to the downside just yet. Going to the 1 hour, we do see slope and separation, bit of a technical gap right now. We have a naked cross up here at 20.29 and a quarter, but the trend on the 1 hour is down. Going to the 30-minute, you can see that that strengthens, good slope, good separation. Price is paralleling the 9 quite nicely. 15-minute, same thing, good slope, good separation. Trend is down coming into the RTH session. And on the 5-minute, very strong trend starting to weaken, but still, below the 9 and 20, and still has not violated this downward trend. We could get continuation down. Going to the structure, the big picture. So we're trading against this area right here, this longer term micro composite that we had fallen out of in January. And we fell below that 2008, tried to hold value down at the 1978 and a quarter, and then completely fell down, and then we traded down here in this balance before we broke up and started working our way back in. So right now we're inside the value area. More importantly, we're inside or above the microcomposite LVN, so we're in this upper distribution. We're trying to hold value, but we're struggling overnight. They were doing a pretty good job of it yesterday and through most of the night. Now I've got a couple little profiles here. The overall profile for the microcomposite I now have starting from March the 17th through to yesterday, because we've come down and traded inside of these two larger bars, the large bar from Friday. And then, so the overall value is still above us at 40.50, but we came down and tried to hold value at 34.50 where they had tried to hold it. That was the last place they tried to hold it before falling out of that value back in January. We haven't been able to hold it. We got up there yesterday and they sold it off from there, so the seller stepped in. Now, overnight, we are trying to hold it in around the 28, and our VPOC for yesterday was at 28. It was down here until late in the day. The 2-day microcomposite VPOC was down here at the 17. It shifted up late in the day. Now overnight, they failed to hold that level. Our overnight VPOC was 20.31 and a quarter. I haven't checked to see if it's changed, but we're challenging below the LVN right here on the microcomposite. This LVN right here is at 22. That's where the buyer stepped in yesterday. If we fail to hold the 22, I'm looking for a move down into the 19 and 17 area. And then it's going to be all about whether or not the 16 area holds. Below the 16, I'm looking for first target at 1275, test the value area high of the 3-day microcomposite of where we held value after the breakout, and move down. If we break below the 1275, a move down to this 0675. That's the next big destination below. So the 16 is still going to be the key line in the sand for us. 22 is going to be the warning line for a move down to 19 and 17. There's still a naked VPOC at 17. But if we can hold above the 22, then I expect them to rotate up towards the 27, 28 area. The 6-day value area low is down here at 27. And then we've got that 28 2-day microcomposite VPOC. And if we get back in there, then it's just a slow grind up into the 34 and 40, and possibly continuation up towards that composite VPOC at the 2061.50. Remember, the next big destination above this microcomposite is the 56.55 area. So that's what it's looking like, big picture. Taking a look at overnight, like I said, we've got a double distribution from overnight. We tried to hold value. We're doing a pretty good job. The overnight VPOC is up here at 31 and a quarter, but the European session and the early Globex session for the U.S. It has broken it down, and we're creating this second distribution. I don't know if we have time to trade enough volume to get a VPOC shift, but that is definitely something that we have to watch. So right now, we still got a lot of time, so we could put in a new overnight low, but right now, as it stands, it's sitting down at 2075. Our overnight high is pretty much intact now at 33.50. And then our overnight VPOC was at 31 and a quarter, but that could shift. And that's sitting right on yesterday's value area high and the open from yesterday's RTH session. And then we've got this double distribution where with the midpoint, the VWAP, the IB low is all sitting right there. There's a CLVN right there. So that 27, I'm actually going to use the 26.50 up into the 27 as a key trade area, because above there, I'm expecting to move up in towards the 28, close the gap at 28 and a quarter, and test the value area high up there at 31. Above 31, looking for the overnight high to get taken out and move into the VPOC at 34.50. And there's really not a lot you can do to trade off that other than using the 31 and a quarter as your trade area into that. I would target that 32.50 to get funded and the overnight high at 33. So that's about all the information that is useful for me in terms of the overnight session so far. So doing our levels to the upside, 31, target the 32.50. And then 33.50 and 34. There's not a heck of a lot above the 34. You've got blunt area right up here, so there's no real edge up here. If you're above 32.75, you basically want to stay long into the 34, and a test of the year open up at 37.75. The month open is way below us. Our week open is 20.30 and a quarter, so that's inside of yesterday's value. So I'd be targeting the year open and 43.75 might get a little bit of resistance. The daily ATR right now is running at 23.69, so off of the current low, our daily upside target is 44.50. Our upside weekly is way up there at 96, I believe it is. Yeah, weekly ATR is way up at 96. So I'm not anticipating that coming into play today. You know, we are compressing for a move. We just don't know which way this move is going to be. We are right now below that 21.75. That's going to be our warning line. Below that, I expect to see a new overnight low put in and a move down into this 19 and 17. 16 is our key line in the sand. And below that, I'm expecting a move down to test the 12 and a quarter and down into the 0675 750 area. Our daily downside ATR target is down at 9.25, so we have room to get down there. So my main hypothesis, for the day is to take out this overnight low, push down into the 16, 17 area, find responsive buyers, and work our way back up towards the 28 and 34.50. If we break below the 16, then I think we're going to, we could probably bounce and fail off of the 22 to 26 area, come through the 16, and come all the way down into this 06, 07 area and chop around. Remember that the return to the scene of the crime of the FOMC is down here at 0175, so it wouldn't surprise me if when Yellen speaks that we're down in this area with a return to the scene of the crime. So again, my main hypothesis is a move down into the 16, possibly dip a little bit below it, find responsive buyers, and work our way up through 28 to 34. Secondary hypothesis kicks in if we dip below 16, then I'm looking for failure down into the 06, 07 area and possibly down into the 0175, maybe even a dip into the 1900s. My third hypothesis would be to bounce off of, take out the overnight low right away, and then just you take us up higher into 34 and get continuation up towards a test of the year open. But I think that's a strong responsive buying move on the open. I think we're going to see two-sided. We're going to open just outside of range or just inside of range, but outside of value. So I expect to see two-sided trading, and I expect to see some initiative selling coming in before they find some buyers below. So that's what I'm looking at. Let's take a look at the Renko with Keltner. Trying to keep these sessions as short as possible. I know a tendency to get try to cover too much. The Keltner center line is at 24. Above that, a move up to the upper Keltner line will take us up to take out the naked close and naked VPOC up in the 28s and test the upper Keltner in the 29.75. Remain below the Keltner center line, a move down to the lower line is going to take us into that 18, more likely the 17 by the time we get there. So that's going to complete the pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.